So there's a long career in social work and counselling and domestic and family violence and mental health and all of that stuff. And whilst I was working in the field doing that, I also studied coaching, and I just really liked the model of coaching and the way that I worked with people. And I found that I was getting, different clients. It was different work. I found it a lot more forward focused. And so I just moved into that. And after doing life coaching for 5-10 years, I took some time out and was like, it was too broad. And I decided that I liked working with relationships and single women looking for relationships. So I started this business almost 3 years ago. And I love it. I'm obsessed with it.
Nice. What do you like about it? Let's talk about that. What do you like about it?
I love, when I work with single women, I love the self-worth piece. I love when people, women, finally, it's like it clicks into place how worthy they are of an amazing relationship. I love that, and I love watching them get to that journey of just how fantastic they are. With couples, I am absolutely fascinated by the dynamics that couples have and the communication and conflict. And I love how when we can just change one little thing, it can change the whole dynamic of the relationship. And I think so often single women and couples get stuck in patterns that we repeat over and over again. And everyone gets so frustrated with it, but doesn't know what to do with it. And it's hard when you're in it. Like sometimes I get stuck in my own relationship because you're just so in it.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm magical. It's just that I'm a person on the outside looking in, and I can help with that.
So let's talk about dating profiles. We're going to specifically talk about how we can optimize our dating profiles to attract the type of partner that we want.
I always start with everyone looking at their values. Always. It's probably my number one step with people, because I think so often I find that people go, I'm ready to date. I'm going to make a profile great. I'm going to choose the great pics of me. I'm going to write all these funny things, but no one thinks about who they are. And your values are so key to how you write your profile, what the pictures that you put up, the questions that you answer, and you knowing when you talk to someone if they're going to be a good match for you or not. And you know that early on if you've worked out your values. So I encourage everyone to look at, like, even if you just Google like a list of values and write all the ones down that you think are appropriate for you or that resonate with you, and then kind of group them together or narrow them down, and then work out what ones for you are negotiable and what ones for you are deal breakers. And I think having that kind of scale of them. So you don't have to get someone who matches all of your values, but the ones that are really important to you, they need to match. But you need to know what yours are in order to kind of sell yourself on your profile.
Right. What are just out of curiosity, what are the most kind of common values you see with your clients?
With women, definitely respect, trust, connection, probably that they want that friendship there. It's those real honesty. It really centers around that self-worth, self-respect stuff. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And what are some common deal breakers you hear about?
Definitely if they want children, so family.
Yep.
Sometimes travel is really important to people, like having goals or like being self-motivated and wanting personal growth. That can be really important to people. Having like high communication. It varies, but definitely family is a huge deal breaker for a lot of women, because it's just not going to work. If you want children and the other person doesn't want children, as much as you love each other or you respect each other, it's just not going to work. I don't know how you get around that. I mean, if someone knows, tell me, but I've never seen it work.
If you're in alignment with your values, you know when you're chatting to someone if they're the one for you. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I think it gives you a key earlier on in the conversation as to whether they're going to be right for you or not. So like if you can get to know someone by asking, you don't have to say to someone, what are your values? You could say, what does an ideal Sunday look like for you? Or, what's really important to you? Or where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or, like random questions where you can kind of get around, and they will, they might say, I like to hang out with my family, or, I'm going for a promotion at work, or, I think they'll say things where you can pull their values from them, where you can see what's important to them. And then you can see if that's in alignment with you. Oh, yeah, in 5 years' time, I want to be settled down, or I just want to keep partying, or I want to travel the world, or, I think you get a little bit of an insight into who they are. I think the issue lies when we like someone and perhaps they're really good looking to us, and we like to ignore things that they've said to make them fit in our box.
Yeah.
So you're getting those signs there. It's just whether you're willing to listen to them, or whether you want to just have tunnel vision as to, it's going to work. It's going to work no matter what, even though these things are really important to me and I hear the clashing.
So we're paying attention to what they're saying and how they're responding. What about how we write our profile? Let's talk about that. That's a big one. How do we write our profile in alignment with our values that attracts that person to us?
Yeah, I think you've got to be you. So I think so many times people, they write their profile in the way that they think the person that they want to attract would like. And you miss out who you are. And you got it, like, there are hundreds of thousands of people on dating apps, and you will get lost in the sea of dating apps if you just want to be like everyone else. Like, that goes for your pictures, your bio, your question and answers. If you're trying to be quirky and funny and that's not you, like, stop it. Just be you. If you're really intelligent, be you. Like, if you are really funny, be you. If there's something about you that stands out, put that on your profile. I always use the example because it's an easy one, of cosplay. When people dress up in costumes, certain people like people that dress up in costumes, and other people that don't like that won't like that. It is if you like that, put that on your profile, because it's a way of weeding out the people that don't like that. Don't pretend that you don't like it and then it's something that's really important to you.
Like
anything that makes you unique, put that on the profile, because the idea of winning this game here is that you're going to find someone that is the match for you. And there's several people out there. Like, I don't believe there's one for you. I think there's probably several people out there for you, but you need to, the way you write your profile and the pictures, the more unique you are on there, that's the quicker way of weeding out people that aren't the match for you.
So we're writing our profile to exclude the ones we don't want as much as to attract the ones we do want.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my caveat with that is, please don't ever write, I don't want players, I don't want any people who are going to, just don't write the negatives in there, because it just gives off this bad vibe about who you are. And to be honest, the people that are players are probably like, oh, challenge, let me see if I can break this one. So it's not going to stop them from contacting you.
Right. So instead of writing what we don't want, write what we do want.
Yeah.
What do you think about filters? What's your take on using filters in your dating profile?
I hate filters. I hate filters in all of life. I just think, a lot of men that I speak to hate filters, and women are usually the ones who use the filters. It's just not you. It's just, again, trying to be what's wrong with you? What's wrong with the skin that you're in, or the way that you look, and the filters go way too far now. I don't know. People can change the shape of their face, the shape of their body. I just wish they didn't exist. In I think it's Sweden. They've I could be totally wrong about the country, but they've made it, you have to say if you've used a filter on your photo. So if you put a photo on your filter, you have to literally say that you've used a filter so people know.
Yeah, I think you have to do that in advertising now too. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if Australia, but some countries are making it, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And in Italy, they're making models have to be a certain weight before they can get on the catwalk, which is quite nice. So we are slowly changing these ideals that women feel they should live up to. Women particularly, men also, and all people. Yeah. So,
and it's also not what I think it's what we think other people are going to find attractive, but it's like for ages, women used to do the duck pose with their lips.
Some of them
like
still
men
do.
hated that, but I don't know if
know.
women thought that was attractive. It's just
I'm not sure where that started. Like, why is it a thing? I never got it. I was like, I don't understand what's happening here. What's the appeal? It's very, I'm very confused by it too. Very confused by it. Yeah. Okay. And men and women, everyone on dating apps, a lot of people just don't write things on their profile, okay, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Is that a no-no, not writing anything?
I think it's a no-no because, I mean, look, it depends on why you're going on the dating apps. But if you're wanting a serious relationship and you're not taking the time and effort to write anything on there, I just think it shows volumes. And from my feedback from men and women, they hate it. They just won't even look at your profile. So I think you're wasting your time. Just get off the app.
Yeah. Well, they probably just want hookups or...
Yeah, probably. And that's okay as well. But if that's not what you're after, then don't do that.
I remember being somewhere with someone very early on when dating app started, and really it was just kind of Tinder around. And we even used the language, I'm going to play Tinder. Like it's a game. And I think that still happens now. People kind of play it like it's a game, which is kind of probably by design, the gamification of it. But it's not great because it's like these are actually people, it's when you gamify it, you miss that element of humanness.
Yeah.
And so how can we so you just mentioned being really conscious. Is there any other ways we can kind of make sure we don't gamify it and we take it really seriously?
Yeah, I had a client the other night and she said she'd matched with all these people and she's like, I'm just not messaging them. I'll wait for them to message me. And I was like, okay, why? And she said, I don't really, I'm not really that into them. And I was like, well, why did you swipe on them? Like, just swipe on the people that are a yes for you. Don't swipe on the people that you're like, no, maybe, I don't know. Like, I think just you take it seriously. Like you want to meet someone, right? That's your aim and you don't want to burn out from it. So take it seriously. Take time to read people's profiles, look through their pictures. If something resonates with you, then swipe with them and message them. But if it doesn't, don't waste your time on. I always I'm going to go a little bit spiritual and woo-woo, but I'm such a big believer of if you've got anything energetically blocking your way to finding someone, it's going to get in the way. So if you've got a whole dating app full of messages and they're just sitting there and you're waiting for a response, something like that, I feel like it's in the way of the person finding you. Like I always say to my clients, you've got like a filter, and I know people can't see this if they're just listening, but you've got a big filter, and at the top you've got lots of people that can come in, and as you get down that filter it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And if there's a block in the way of the end of the filter, the person kind of can't get through that filter. So any old energetic matches or any people that any exes that you're thinking about, or anyone that you wanted to make it work with but it didn't, or someone that's ghosted you, or you just need to kind of unmatch with them or delete the messages or just get them out of the way and just start afresh. And so therefore don't match with people that you don't want. It's a waste of everyone's time.
But let's say, okay, you're women dating men, or I'm not sure how it works with non-binary people, but if you're dating men and you have to message first as a woman, what are some good openers? Because I've noticed on Bumble now they have prompts, and they never used to have prompts. And I guess that was because people were struggling so hard with those openers, and they're just saying, hey. Yes. What do you recommend?
Yeah, don't say hey. You'll get lost in the sea of hays and messages. I recommend looking at the person. This is why I say be really conscious about the profile, because when you look at the profile and you read it, something's got to stand out to you that you like about them and why you resonate with them. So it could be that you're making a comment in regards to that they went to Japan. Oh my God, I went to Japan too and went snowboarding there. just anything in regards to their pictures or profile that you can relate back to why you like them in a way. That this is why I resonate with you. So, and it just needs, it's just something different to stand out from them. And why, yeah. So I think that people usually have that in their profile, and that's why you were drawn to their profile. If they make a joke, you can make a joke back. Just have a look at their profile and pick out what it is that resonates with you and then make a comment based on that.
Would you suggest using MeetUp to meet people?
I love MeetUp. Yeah, look, it so depends on where you live. Some people don't even, I have a lot of clients, probably because I do a lot of online work, that live in regional and remote areas, and they don't have any groups in their area. So no, it's not useful for you. But bigger cities, yeah, I think it can be really a great way. I find a lot of travelers there though, on MeetUp, because they're trying to meet new people. But I think if you're anxious about going to specific dating events, it's a great workaround, because you don't have to go, no one has to know that you're there looking for someone, but it could be a good way for you to practice your conversation skills or meeting new people skills, or it's kind of a way that you don't have to dive headfirst in, if that makes sense, because not everyone is that comfortable or confident doing that straight away.
Let's talk about the rural dating. That's a good one. What do we do if our dating pool is really small on these apps? How do we navigate that?
Sometimes they have to expand their kilometre range more to get more people. I'm a huge believer that the right person will come to you when they're supposed to. So I think that being yes, you have to take action and do things to make that happen, but you could just as likely meet the love of your life walking into a service station and running into them as you could on an app. So it's great that we've got apps, and it's great that we've got new ways to meet people. But if you're just open to the idea that you could meet the love of your life tomorrow when this guy comes and knocks on your door to deliver a package, or a friend introduces you to him, or you go to a wedding, or there's other ways to meet people. So just don't think that just because your pool is limited that you're not going to meet someone, because it's very interesting. The women that I have in regional and remote areas, they go, my pool's limited, I don't have many people. And the women in cities go, there's too many people and it's too hard to sort through them. So it's almost like we can't even find a middle ground there anyway.
Yeah, just for everyone listening, I don't know if you can think of any back off the top of your head, but I just wanted to list a couple of ways that I've heard that people have met their partners, and we'll give everyone listening a little dopamine hit. So my auntie, she met her partner in a laundromat traveling. She was in a laundromat. They were washing clothes together. They met, they're married, have 2 kids, been together for 20 years. My mum told me a story about a woman who her car broke down, not broke down, sorry, she had a flat tire, and a guy stops to help her change her tire. Love of her life, they got married. And I was like listening to these stories going, yes, these are the stories I want to hear of how people met their partners in unusual. Do you have any of those? I know I'm really putting you on the spot.
So I used to run a group coaching course, and the women they were thinking, I can only meet people online. So I put on my Facebook profile, where did you meet your partner? I had like hundreds and hundreds of comments. And it, like yours, it was the most, when I say service station, that's literally where someone met their partner at a service station. They went in to pay for fuel, bumped into this guy, got talking, like in a supermarket, on the street, at a friend's wedding. Like, people have met in the most random places that you would never think, oh, that's where you would meet your partner. But you just have to be, like, you really have to be open to the idea that that's possible. Because it's, when you limit yourself, it's like saying, I want to become really rich. And the way I'm going to become really rich is that I'm going to buy a lotto ticket. And that is the way that I'm going to win. And you've almost got tunnel vision as that's the only way you're going to get money, when you can get money from many, many different ways. But if you only think lotto is the only way, that you've limited yourself. It's the same with dating. If you think dating apps are the only way you're going to meet someone, you have discounted all the other magical and weird and wonderful ways that it could happen. And it does happen. Like I'm not just making this up. You're not just making this up. It happens in real life.
Thanks for listening to the Rebel Love Podcast, the podcast about love, sex, and relationships. If you like this episode, please support us by subscribing and leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform, and find all the details of this episode and more at rebellove.com/podcast.